Yeah, well, the issue of the center school has come up because of the fact that we've already been inheriting a number of facilities from the province over the last number of years. In particular, we inherited the jail, which cost us a lot of money to actually bury and put in the ground after 8 years of trying to find alternative uses for it. And the cost was quite exorbitant because of some of the circumstances around the dispositioning that asset. We now inherited just recently, 2 years ago, the school and blockhouse. There's probably close to $500,000 or better of repairs needed to do in that property to put it back into sale position, and we found a partnership there with a group of individuals looking at environmental initiatives. So it's really called, it's a bit of like an environmental incubator mall that we've been able to find some success with that, but nevertheless there's still an issue surrounding the long-term viability of that. The third now is we got the Riverport School, and we're working with a group, but that is going to be a long, protracted process. And during that time, we realized there's some environmental issues associated with that as well. And then on top of that, with the breaking of the MOU and the downloading of higher educational costs, our municipality now will be inheriting the center school. And that is a huge liability to this council. On top of the millions that we've talked about, this school alone, to put into condition for a sale, would be around $2 million of repairs that need to be dealt with immediately. And secondly, there are environmental issues associated with that school that we know of already. Just the fact that in the heating system, they have asbestos on the pipes. That's what's currently there. Kids are in that school. They'll be moving out the end of March, and we're going to inherit that. We are now having to deal with the cleanup of all that and whatever else that's there with regards to environmental problems. So we're just saying, look, enough is enough. We're talking millions of dollars that is being downloaded to this municipality, and we can't afford it. Just as simple as that. I was at a meeting just recently when I've heard from other colleagues in other municipalities have said, you know, we just said to the province, no, we won't accept the school, and they haven't. And so I'm saying, you know, well, why are we expected, on top of all the struggles that every municipality are having across this province right now, a further download of all these capital facilities that are not coming as a capital asset, they're coming as a contingent liability to this municipality. If we lived downtown Halifax and we had a school, there'd be all sorts of people lining up for that school. We don't have that in a rural municipality. On top of that, we're hearing rumors of other potential school closures over the next period of time. And what we're saying to the government, enough is enough. In fact, what we're going to be saying in the letter is that besides the fact that these costs have been escalating at an incredible rate against this municipality and the taxpayers of this municipality, there's inequities within the formula for funding education. We are paying more per household here in Lunenburg, in our municipality, than Queens County. We're paying more than all of Cape Breton. And I'm saying, why is that? The funding formula for education should be consistent across the board. They say that the educational level is consistent across the board in regards to outcomes. Well, why isn't it consistent across the board with regards to funding? And I think we are at a comparative disadvantage. And we're saying it's time that this government realizes that enough is enough. And we can't afford to be burdened with this tremendous liability any further. And that's why we want to write a letter back to the province of Nova Scotia asking for a moratorium. Asking for a moratorium on this facility, but other facilities in the province. Because it's not only our municipalities hurting, other rural municipalities will hurt as well. Now, you know, it's interesting, the school board, they have some talk about that issue of moratorium in Halifax. There it's not a problem because it's an asset and people will buy it and people will pay money for it and they can do a development in there. We don't have the same luxury here, so that moratorium would be important. So we'll be drafting a letter to the minister responsible, to the premier, to our MLAs, and said, look, we are now talking in a tune of $3 to $5 million of liability added to the books of the province, to our municipality. And we've never asked for that, and that's unfair. And we are cutting our budgets, we're cutting our operational expenses for what? Just to give it back to the province of Nova Scotia. It's supposed to be going back to the municipality and to our residents and to program delivery. But instead what we're doing is paying for things that we're inheriting from the province of Nova Scotia that is, to me, grossly unfair.
Are you, just so I understand, are you asking the province not to take that you, like, you don't want to take it, or are you telling
It's
them
as simple,
we're not taking
we're
it?
not taking the school, and put a moratorium on it until they can find a formula and a program that doesn't mean that when schools come up, that we're just saying it's like I don't know what's a good analogy. I'm going to rent a house from you, pay you no rent, use it for 10, 20, 30 years, and never repair it to the degree it should be, and give it back to you less than the worse condition than you gave it to me for, and never pay rent, never pay taxes, and then give it back to you when you have environmental problems that you have to clean up and all sorts of other issues you have to clean up. You wouldn't like that, nor would any other resident in Nova Scotia. But that's what's being expected to us as a municipality from the province of Nova Scotia, and I think that has to be readdressed.
And it's your understanding that other municipalities have told the province that they're not taking the school, and the province have taken it?
I was informed that there's a municipality that the school came up and they didn't take it, and they didn't have to.
What happens if the province comes back and says, no, you have to take this?
Well, we'll see where it goes. I mean, you know, I've talked to the ministers. This isn't new. I mean, I've been, you know, our council has been frustrated by this exercise. I've had meetings with ministers of education. I had meetings with our MLAs and others, and they are supportive of the concerns that we've raised. But we haven't found a solution here. We haven't found a solution of what's going to be done. Whether there's going to find an alternative use for that facility, they're going to find, you know, other departments to work together in this collaborative approach to find solutions. What we seem to be getting is just, well, too bad, here it is, and by the way, you might have an environmental problem there, and we end up having to find out what's all going on and what's wrong with the facilities. That's a poor way to have to do business. So we're saying, yeah, this is a line in the sand with us at this point to find out, you know, what are you going to do? We can't afford it. So we got a problem. And I think the province has to come to the table and talk about it.